This topic of Toyota going bankrupt has been circling around for the last couple of years. Yes, they have high levels of debt, but they also have high levels of revenue and profitability. And most of these outlets claiming that Toyota going bankrupt are EV only mindset and EV only focused channels and outlets. So with that being said, Toyota's laughing their way to the bank right now. Sales, production, export results for January through December, so all of the last calendar year, Toyota set global sales and production records. Sounds like they're going bankrupt. If you enjoy my updates on Toyota sales and production, smash the like button. I try to do that quarterly, sometimes more monthly, depending on if certain brands are blowing it out of the water or completely sinking. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my coverage. Tomorrow, my Lexus GX driving impressions go up. And then there's just so much stuff coming down the hatch for Toyota and Lexus this year. And this spring, I should be driving the new Land Cruiser, Tundra Hybrid, the new Camry, the new Crown Signia, all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that, as well as all my additional auto coverage outside of Toyota and outside of the Japanese automakers. All right, so December through January, all of 2023, Toyota smashed their sales records all time and production records all time. In December, they also smashed their production and sales records because demand in each region, in addition to easing semiconductor shortages, has helped them do that. If they were going bankrupt, they wouldn't have demand. And in fact, the opposite is kind of happening. I'll have to make another video on it, but EVs have been falling 2 consecutive quarters in sales in California. That is supposed to be the EV mecca, right? Or at least here in the United States, right? Norway and other parts of China, other parts of the world that have much higher EV penetration is a totally different story. But here in the United States, EV demand is dropping, okay? I'm not saying it's disappearing, but the rate of demand, the rate of EV growth is dropping here substantially in the United States. Now, Toyota has pretty healthy profit margins for an automaker. If you look at like Nissan, they struggle to make a profit nowadays. If we look at Tesla, historically has pretty high profit margins the past few years anyways, and it's starting to go back down. However, if we look last year in 2022, I should say, their profit margin was 16%. In quarter 4 of 2023, it was down to 8.2%, which is slightly up from 7.6% in quarter 3. So their profit margins now are about equivalent to Toyota's after all of Tesla's price cuts. And Toyota still has to work through dealer networks, which take about 6% of their profit. So think about that for a second. Tesla kind of trending down in profitability, Toyota just slightly inching up in profitability, makes them about equally as profitable on a net profit level. I don't think either are going bankrupt anytime soon unless EV demand falls off a cliff, if there's a freaking huge recession or, God forbid, a depression, then of course everyone's profit margins are going to tank at that point. It's hard for you guys to see this, but if you can pinch your screen if you're on your phone and you can zoom in on the numbers. But hybrid vehicles are on the rise, up 31% on the year. They're up 47% in December. Mild hybrids, Toyota hardly sells any of them because their standard hybrids are so good. Plug-in hybrids, though, are starting to grow for them as well, up 38% on the year, up 67% on the month, and that will grow substantially in 2025 when their battery plant goes online in North America, in North Carolina. So it's only a matter of time before that starts skyrocketing as well. You can see a huge jump in sales for plug-in hybrids in Japan. Now, they still don't sell that many of them, right? 24,000 on the year, but still very, very impressive nonetheless. And sales outside of Japan are still growing, of course. Fuel cell, who cares? No one has access to hydrogen, really. Battery electric. Now, this is interesting. So the battery electric sales were 104,018. Now, I also have their EV sales up right here, or should I say their production expectations. They sold over 104,000, which was about a little bit less than a single percentage of their vehicles. Next year, it'll grow to close to 2%. Then in 2025 will be the huge EV growth for them. Over 7% of their total volume will be fully battery electric. And that's when that battery plant comes online to supply those batteries here in North America. They're also using LG Chem to supply certain battery electric vehicle batteries as well here in North America. And then by 2030, they will be producing and selling potentially 3.5 million. Of course, this all depends on EV demand and also governmental mandates. All right. It's a 1-2 punch, right? So overall, Toyota sold 3.4 million hybrid vehicles. They sold 124,000 plug-in hybrids, and they sold 104,000 battery electric vehicles. If Toyota could supply their plug-in hybrids at a higher level, they could probably be selling 500,000 a year minimum. But that's just my estimations. I have nothing to base that on. But based off the demand and how good their plug-in hybrids are, they would have a huge market if they could supply it. All right, so worldwide sales of electrified vehicles, a little under 3.7 million. And keep in mind, by the end of the decade, they want to be at 3.5 million battery electric only. That means we'll have probably double that in hybrids, which would include plug-in hybrids at that point in time as well. So Toyota will be continually getting more and more electrified, and that will happen a little bit faster for Lexus. So we're going to look at Lexus here to see how they're doing as a company. Yeah, so Lexus is doing really, really well around the world. They have a little highlight graph here. They've sold a record high for the 2023 calendar year of 824,000 units, a 32% increase compared to last year. They said particularly in North America and Japan, they've seen big demand. The ratio of electrified vehicle sales is now at 47%. For the Japanese domestic market, they are selling the NX and RX quite well to almost 95,000 units, which is an increase of 230% compared to last year. So they've doubled up their sales for the RX and NX in Japan. I saw few NXs, very few RXs when I was over in Japan in October. North America, so 355,000 sales. That includes Canada, and I think they started selling in Mexico just a few years ago. It might include the Caribbean as well. They might lump that in there, but those sales volume would be extremely small. If we pop out just their USA sales, it's 306,000 units. Their growth in China. So here's the crazy thing, guys. I remember reporting a little bit earlier on when I started this channel that Lexus in China, I remember seeing a massive, it was something like this, right? It was like it's a doubling up of a volume year over year in China. And this was like 2018, 2019. Look, they've essentially stopped growing in China due to the rapid shift, not only in electrification, but government handouts to Chinese companies from the communist government. There used to be a point in time where China was going to pass the United States in units. I remember them selling over 200,000 units in a year, and that's no longer the case. In the Middle East, it's very healthy there as well. They love their LXs and GXs. So Europe is the surprise here because it's really hard to break into the European luxury market. Even though Toyota Lexus sales are an all-time production high and sales high, this is amidst the scandals going on. So last year, it was the Hino scandal, their big truck maker cheating emissions. Earlier this year, and still going on, is Daihatsu cheating collision tests. And now what's going on is that there are other diesel engine vehicles being recalled from Toyota and put on stop sale. And so there's so much crap going on in the background. Despite that, Toyota is essentially unfazed in terms of success. And it only affects a small portion of their total vehicles. But I feel bad for the ones that it does affect because Toyota had been lying to you and you bought a product that was compromised. And that's not good for anyone. Not good for Toyota, not good for the buyers. So I've already made a video on it, but there's just more scandalous things coming out seemingly as the veil's been lifted and all this stuff that was swept under the bed or the rug for years is coming to surface, which is good. We want these problems to be brought to the light so they can be resolved and we can buy safer, better products. So will Toyota go bankrupt because of Tesla? I mean, this all started even back in 2016 before Tesla had any sort of meaningful volume. So this is just a hot topic that people like to discuss, and most people who bring this topic up, who actually believe it, are on the EV mindset only, where there's only one answer in the future for automobiles, and it has no choice left for the person because they want EV only. EVs are definitely a part of the future. They're definitely a part of the market now, and they work for a lot of people. They don't work for most people in North America at this point in time due to the lack of charging, a high sticker price, too slow of charging, and a lack of range. And there are more reasons too. So yeah, anyways, Toyota is not going bankrupt anytime soon as they smash production volume. And here's the thing. I've been telling, when I was driving the GX is going to have a pretty low volume. In my opinion, I think I'm under embargo with the volume at this point. So I can't say like what Toyota and Lexus plan on selling GX in the United States. But in my opinion, it's not high enough. And that is for Toyota in general. I think if Toyota could produce, if we go back to here, if Toyota could produce 12, 13 million vehicles per year in the future, I think the market has so much demand that it would easily soak it up. Could they sell 15 million vehicles a year? I think so, but their production facilities are not robust enough to allow for something like that. So I think we'll probably see a small increase to maybe 11.5 million next year, as long as the global economies remain strong. We've already seen Nissan pull back production in the beginning of 2024 due to a lack of demand. But demand for Nissan and Toyota are completely different. So anyways, I'm going to shut it down there. You can't go bankrupt if you are selling at a healthy profit margin and if you can't even meet the demand, and your demand is in the tens of millions at this point per year. So anyways, I'm going to shut it down there. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. And I'll be excited to see if Toyota can improve upon this 11.2 million sales record in 2023. All right. Thank you, guys. Got to shut it down. Take kids to school. Have a great day and peace.